All right, everybody, welcome back to the next episode of the Full Send Cyber Podcast. My name is Austin Dennis, my host, Paul Keystead. Today, we're going to be talking about resourcefulness. And one of the things that you might have seen both of us do is, different certifications that we've got, the degrees that we've got, and people are interested in that and they look at it. And one thing that I get messages for daily, Paul probably gets like 2 to 3 times more messages than me about this subject, is people that just shoot a message out and say, hey, you have X certification. What are the resources that I need in order to pass this certification? And, Paul has especially done a really good job at making different playbook posts for CISSP, CCSP, lots of other different ones, just detailing resources that he's used. And I feel like both of us just really would like to share with you what our process is for looking for resources, how we're using them, how to determine basically a good resource versus a bad resource so that you can do a lot of this stuff on your own. We like helping people, but resourcefulness is a really good skill to have in your tool belt, and it makes it so you can help other people too, and you don't have to just copy and paste all the different stuff that you do.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that I think resourcefulness itself is the greatest resource. Like resourceful people are a great resource for organizations and all that. It was John Strand who said that, if you go to your manager and you ask him a question that shows up in the first 3 Google search results, like that's not cool. And I would agree. I would also say too, I guess while we're on the subject of people messaging us, it's really frustrating when people ask you a very vague question that would require you to write a novel. And it's also aggravating too when people ask a question that shows that they clearly have not tried to research things themselves at all. Or they expect you to think for them. It's just kind of frustrating. I know with my mentor, I try to be respectful of his time and ask him specific questions that like I've already thought through as far as I can. And but getting to like the subject matter at hand, now that I got that out of the way, when I was going through WGU, I would always go to Reddit posts and I would try to find someone who sounded at least a little bit like me or was asking a similar question to me, had the same goals, was as close as possible to where I was at. And then I would look at the resources that they posted, their experience and things like that. And my playbooks are essentially an attempt to bring that to LinkedIn because I know that, like, for instance, like, the PMP certification, starting off, like, you have to look up the requirements to even be a PMP, the requirements to apply. Like, how do you apply? Like, how long is the test? How long does it take? But the reality is all these things could be found on your own. And honestly, just using Google, looking on Reddit, and trying to find the resources. And then when you find them, indexing those resources. My shared drive at home is completely indexed by category with my personal things, work things, career development stuff, resume stuff. I take notes on every single conversation that I have with people, especially people who are taking the time to mentor me. And then also like taking good notes and indexing all your resources with hyperlinks and things like that in something like Notion or Obsidian. And the reality is that when you become a pen tester, when you become a SOC analyst and all that, you're going to have like all these tools referenced. You're going to have detailed notes of all these things. So if you can't take the time now to be resourceful, then when you become a SOC analyst, like if you think you're just going to memorize all the commands, memorize all the resources, the reality is you're going to have to be a great note taker. I mean, maybe you're a savant and you can do that, but you have to start developing this skill of indexing resources and being resourceful yourself.
Yeah,
That was a little bit of a rant. Sorry about that, Austin.
No, you're good. And it's a completely normal thing that I think, especially, obviously this is the Full Send Cyber podcast. And so our focus is mainly cybersecurity, but we also focus a lot on just personal development, professional development, and just things like that in general. But in the area of cybersecurity specifically, place yourself where you want to be 5 years from now, sitting in a desk. It's just an average day at the security operations center. And then all of a sudden you realize that you're in the middle of an intrusion. You've got your incident response team going. Are you going to be able to pull out your phone and message the, guy on LinkedIn with the most followers and ask him, what do I do in this situation? You have to be able to look at real life scenarios and place yourself there and figure it out. This is a field that has a lot of I gotta
Sorry, man. Sorry, dude. You had to know that I was gonna laugh. I'm surprised I didn't bust out laughing. All right. Are you? We should just end the episode here and just leave it. That was pretty bad.
Oh man, I gotta think things through when I start talking.
No, that was perfect, bro. That was probably. I don't think I've laughed like that in a while. Let me pull up my phone and message the person with the most LinkedIn followers.